this player is a very fine player. Last night had 31 points, 7 steals, and just really killed the Australian attack.
And outside shot coming from Ray Bonner that just rims out. The rebound tipped away by Kuiper to half court though. Here's Marshalinas with his first touch of the ball. Unusual to see him in the game so late. Goborov with Kuiper closing on him, and no room there for Goborov. Drive from Tikhonenko and makes it. So Tikhonenko with a lay-in takes it out to 26 points to 22. So an interesting lineup out there for the Soviets. It's basically a 3-guard lineup with Sok, Marshalinas, and Komicius. Inside, they go to Kuiper. Kuiper inside Tikhonenko and foul from the back.
Good job, Paul Kuiper. He's took that ball to the baseline very solidly.
So Tikhonenko with the foul.
David Graham comes in for the first time. The crowd welcomes him. This is in his home territory, the Glass House in Melbourne. And David Graham, who did such a fine job in the first test in defending Marshalinas, loves that aggressive play, as does Damien Keogh, who guarded Marshalinas last night in Sydney.
Paul Kuiper off the stripe for Australia, 26 points to 23, and they can close to within 2 on this free throw of Kuiper's. And only 1 of 2 though, so it remains at 26-23. 7 minutes to go in the first half. Komicius dishes out to Marshalinas. Sok handling the ball at the point, and it's Komicius and Marshalinas on the wing. Tikhonenko and Goborov on the post play. Grabbed there, super grab by Daryl Pierce, but they couldn't control it. David Graham was off and running. Oh, return pass to Marshalinas. Dear, oh dear, straight down the middle. 28 points to 23.
So 6 minutes to go, 6.5 minutes to go in this first half. This is a dangerous time. You can't let the Soviets get ahead too many points because it's very difficult to catch up.
Kuiper was a great move from Paul Kuiper. Had to go left on that one, and he doesn't like to go left.
Look out,
Tikhonenko, good hands there coming from Daryl Pierce. Removes the ball from Tikhonenko. Chance here for Australia. Graham, Carroll, Borner. But the defense closes right on it.
Nice
Borner with the
drive.
drive. Just couldn't make it though, but he was fouled on the way. Is the foul on Tikhonenko? Yes, it is.
And it's good to see Ray Borner and Paul Kuiper taking it too. I think the first test, they were very hesitant to drive on the Soviets. And each game thereafter, they've gotten more and more confidence, which again is the reason for the series, is to try and let the Australians improve their game and climb the rankings in the world.
Well, for so many years, we've been saying that we just can't climb that international tree because we haven't had the quality of big men. I believe, Bob, now we have.
Well, we definitely do with Kuiper and, of course, Mark Bratke, the 18-year-old from the Institute on the bench. He's available to play. John George is now coming on. Luke Longley at the Institute, a 7-footer. There's more and more of them coming out of the woodwork.
Larry Sangstock back in the game for Borner now, 28-26. Soviets up by 2. And a steal from Wayne Carroll, but loses it right back again. Marshalinas comes up with it. 3-point shot from Komicius. And Larry Sangstock with a super rebound over the top of Alexander Volkov. Kuiper again, looking to take on Goborov. And a foul on Goborov. I tell you what, Kuiper's really refined that first quick move of his, hasn't he?
Well, it's a strong move. He's got a power step, and he's got a lot of size, a 6'10" frame, and a lot of weight behind him to really make it a good move to the basket. Goborov, a 7-footer for the Soviets. You see here, nice pump fake middle. Goborov gives him a bump, and Kuiper will go to the line for a one-on-one. Goborov, a 7-foot, very talented athlete, and Kuiper now just has a little bit more muscle than the big fella.
So Australia can tie the ball game up on this foul shot of Paul Kuiper's. It's the second of a one-on-one, and we'll just get the net cleaned up there as Kuiper wants a good target to aim at. So 28-27, 5:46 to go in the first half, and Kuiper evens the score for Australia, 28 points apiece.
That's great. They were down 5 or 6 points, and they fought back now to tie it up, and now they really have to dig in for 5.5 minutes.
Marshalinas with Pierce giving him some nightmares. Turnaround jumper there from Goborov doesn't go. Australia gets the ball back, and they're off and running with numbers. David Graham down the middle, losing it off his knee, according to referee Davidoff, and the ball reverts to the Soviet Union. So a chance really went begging there.
Adrian Hurley a bit frustrated on that call. He's still looking at Billy Mendenhall.
He figured his player might have got a bump, but a couple of pretty good referees in charge. Oh, extra steps there from Marshalinas. So I thought, exactly. I was waiting for Davidoff's call to travel. Threw in an extra step. 28 points apiece still. Australia to take the lead on this play. Can they do it? Sangstock. Pierce looked at the three-pointer, but the defense came to him. Kuiper, shot from Larry Sengstock, hard off the glass, and the rebound grabbed by Goborov. They pitched that first pass to half court to give themselves a chance of a fast break, but Sock is met there by Darryl Pierce.
And the difference right now, too, Phil, is the Australians are getting back and have the numbers back defensively against this fast break of the Soviets.
I'm absolutely amazed the way they've been able to run in this, the sixth test. It's been a long week, 8 days, 6 tests. The big hook shot there from Goborov. Who do you think he learnt that one on?
I don't know, maybe Tkachenko.
So, again, it's the Soviet Union by 2.
I met Goborov in the first day, and I was taking him to a photo session. Paul Kuiper with the missed shot there, and Goborov said it's very difficult every day in practice. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah. And look at that for a fast break. Marshalinas feeding Volkov for the dunk.
And that's 10 points to Volkov, so he's got 10 of his team's 32 points.
Sengstock. Yes. Australia needs to score this trip down the court, I think, because the Soviets could pinch a 6-point break. Inside they go to Kuiper, and that's a tough angle to score from. Too tough. Volkov outlets it. They got 2-on-2. Sock pushing it down the middle. Marshalinas waiting for it in the corner. Inside they go to Volkov, and he was fouled immediately by Wayne Carroll. So Volkov will go to the free throw line. As referee Milton Hall says number 9, that's Wayne Carroll's number. That's his second personal foul. And timeout has been called by Coach Jamelski of the Soviet Union. With the score here at the Glass House in the Wang Super Challenge, test number 6, the Soviet Union 32, Australia 28. And Jamelski, look at the size of him, Bob, against his players, will you?
I'll tell you what, though, he controls the situation very dominantly, and that's why they brought him back in to coach the team. He had a rest for about 3 years, I think, due to health reasons, and he really pumped his players there and said, get back out and let's get this ball game underway.
They want to get back into the game, but they've got the kids in action here, and they love this entertainment, don't they?
Goborov looking at the little kids there, he says to himself, I know, I had to do these drills too.
Well, Jamelski got his players out there in about 15 seconds. You're allowed 60 seconds in a timeout, but Jamelski said what he wanted to say and said, now get back out there and play. I think that, if I understand Russian, that is.
Something similar there, Phil, as he talks it over with his assistant coach, Ivan Deshko.
So still talking as Volkov lines up at the stripe for the 1-and-1 and doesn't make the first, so they miss a scoring opportunity there as Australia comes back. So Pierce looking for the drive there, but it closed up fairly quickly, and the Soviets in a zone as they go. Carroll, 3-point shot from Darryl Pierce, and I think Darryl Pierce's eyes light up when he sees the zone being played against him. Sock looked to handle the ball a little bit oddly there as Marshalinas for the drive, and oh gee, called out of bounds. In fact, a foul now being called, a charging foul against Marshalinas. Referee Milton Hall said David Graham had good position.
Well, I think the Soviet referee there was going to let the ball just go out of bounds and give it back to Australia, but Billy called a foul as well. So Andrew Gaze comes in for Darryl Pierce, and he's a good perimeter shooter as well.
Well, they've taken Pierce out with this zone being played against them, and inside they go to Kuiper. Kuiper on the turnaround, and the rebound belongs to Tkachenko, but his outlet pass wasn't a good one into the hands of David Graham. They got numbers. 3-point shot from Andrew Gaze. Down it goes. 32-31.
Three-point play and 32-31. Real quick.
3 minutes to go in the first half, and Australia closes to within 1. Sock advances the ball against Gaze. They run the screens down low to open up Volkov. Inside they go to Tkachenko, loses the handle on the ball and tosses it out of bounds. The referee points the other way. He's the only person in the building who thought it went that way, I think.
I think Davidoff's giving the glare there to Gaze. Did you hear what I said? I said it was Russia's ball.
Andrew let it go out. He could have grabbed it, but the odds are against him there, as Davidoff was right on the spot. So it's the Soviet Union by 1, and Tkachenko setting those huge screens there, trying to get rid of David Graham. Graham trying to fight just past the leg. Well, don't worry about the body. It's hard enough to get around one leg.
That guy has such a sweet touch when he gets that jumper off, Marshalinas. Nice 3-point jumper.
Pull-up jumper from Andrew Gaze for 3. 3 points again.
You can do it, I can do it too, Bill.
So still a 1-point game off 2 3-pointers off Andrew Gaze. So the Australians come down floor on defense with Gaze closing up there on Sock. Carroll's on Comicius. And this man, Marshalinas, David Graham has the job on him, and he got rid of David Graham fairly easily on that one, 37-34.
He's not an easy player to stop, that's for sure. A lot of players in the world have tried to figure it out. And strangely enough, 2 years ago at the World Championships, he was on the junior team, not a member of the senior team.
Three-point shot from Gaze. 3 in a row. 37 points apiece. Andrew Gaze, you start.
Well, he saw Daryl Pierce do it last night. He says, okay, Daryl, I'll take over from here. He just subbed in for him. It's my turn to get the limelight.
And we've got a foul off the ball. It's underneath. It's against the Australians, I think, against Larry Sengstock, I believe. In fact, no, it's against Wayne Carroll, number 9. It's going to put Marshalinas at the free throw line. So Marshalinas can unlock the tie here on this play with a 1-and-1.
He's come off the bench and scored 11 quick points, Phil, so definitely changes the complexion of the game as soon as he steps foot on. That's his 12th point.
Debbie Spillane, you've commented on players' builds before. Hasn't this bloke got the best build in the game?
He's certainly a real athlete, and I know Damien Keogh, who spent a bit of time marking him, was saying after the game last night that he just cannot believe how fit these guys are, and he thought Marshalinas was probably the best example.
Andrew Gaze just couldn't make a two-pointer. It was too close. Better from outside the three-point line. They go to Marshalinas again. Oh, yes. 41 points to 37 off a great pass to Marshalinas, and he finishes it off so well.
So frustrating.
Here it is again. Marshalinas hangs in the air, lays it up off the glass, but Australia comes back through David Graham.
David Graham showing a lot of experience for his first series with the senior squad.
So still a two-point game. We're down to a minute to go in the first half. 41-39 to the Soviet Union.
David Graham there bumping Marshalinas. He said, well, look, I'm sorry, Remondis, but Coach told me to go out there and guard you closely. So I'm just doing what he said.
Well, timeout's been called by Coach Adrian Hurley of the Aussie Wang Boomers. And the score 41-39 to the Soviet Union. So the teams in the huddles there, Bob, with just a minute to go till half-time. Australia down by just 2 points, and this has been an area in a couple of tests where Australia has come unstuck just before and just after half-time.
Well, a good timeout from Adrian Hurley, because he needs to settle his guys down and say to them, we have 1 minute to go. Let's make sure we get a good bucket each time down the floor. Really get back for this next 60 seconds and get down on the defensive end. And if he can do that, let's keep this game tight and go into the second half ready to go.
Let's see what they can do with this final minute of play. You noticed in the timeout there, you probably saw Phil Smythe and Robert Sibley, if you tuned into the game late. Those two not taking part in this game, both out with injury for this game, so Australia only going with 10 players. A minute, 4 seconds remaining. Soviet Union ball, Marshalinas. Screen and roll there with Tashenko. Gets rid of the defense fairly comfortably. And they pinch a 4-point break.
Tashenko a little bit ginger on that knee. Got knocked there from Larry Sengstock, but not very often you see a give and go by a 7'3" player.
Carroll underneath to Gaze, blocked there by Tashenko, and Marshalinas ball, fighting for the ball with Ray Borner back in the game for Australia. Marshalinas feet, extra steps there from Sock. And Sock throwing the ball away. He's lucky not to grab a technical for that. He threw that ball right to the other end of the floor.
Well, 35 seconds ago, the Australians will want to milk this clock down, I think, unless they get a good shot and make sure they get a two-pointer.
43-39 to the Soviet Union. And screens coming from both teams that are fairly tough. Sengstock on the inside. Arch has one over the top of Tashenko, but Arch had passed everything. 2-point shot from David Graham. Can't make it, though. Border at the back. Big rebound, Ray Border. Just couldn't make it.
There's Sengstock.
43-41.
The crowd loving this.
7 seconds to go in the half. Let's see if this Soviet Union team can score. Sock on the drive. Makes the drive and scores. And the foul goes against Australia. It could be a 3-point play to end the half with 2 seconds left on the clock. The foul is called against